So, a little update from the last video. I'm no longer drinking daily. As you can see, I've lost about 3 necks. From the 1st of June, so not too long after I uploaded the first video, I've not been buying alcohol weekly anymore. It's not part of my shopping list. I've been getting back into cooking, expanding my knowledge on cryptocurrencies and trying to improve my Twitch stream, and going for long walks, doing workouts at home. It hasn't been the easiest thing to avoid, but I think if I've been doing it every week since I was 17, then the sooner I stop, my body will be very grateful. My body will be very grateful the sooner I stop. This is going to cover various things, but it will hopefully be some closure to the whole, whatever this little series is. In lockdown, I've done a lot of my shopping at newsagents and corner shops off license and that. Mainly for convenience, although it can be more pricey and very limited to what they offer. Depending on your conscience, certain things can stop you going to places and doing certain things. In lockdown, I kept seeing people struggle with food shopping and essentials, so I soon stopped going to big supermarkets when I saw families struggling to get essential food shopping and toilet roll and food banks being used more and stuff like that. This is when I decided to start shopping a bit smaller, and naturally drinking did start to increase. I think this was the first lockdown. Where am I? Alcohol isn't considered an essential, but it is sold at every corner shop that you go to. Every food delivery service, Uber Eats, Deliveroo, whatever it is, used to only have about 2 to 3 alcohol delivery service places, like a 24-hour one, and now there's over 20. So many people turned to alcohol in lockdown, either because they weren't working, because they weren't able to see their friends or families, sometimes both, or just because of the loneliness that we all had to deal with and still do. A lot of us were lucky enough to live with our families through lockdown, or possibly move back in with our families. I'm sure the transition wasn't easy, but as we all know, in times of hardship and need, families come together. There were couples that started in lockdown as well, new relationships, some that even split up because they weren't as good as they thought they were pre-COVID. It goes to show what happens when you actually spend some time together with the one that you love, There is nowhere near enough support for people who struggle with a silent battle, yet get treated as if they are destroying themselves on purpose. For those people, sometimes it is easier to just drink and forget their problems for a while. Eventually that becomes the new normal, and every time a problem comes up, you'll have a drink rather than dealing with it head on. I know every problem isn't fixable straight away, and as soon as you start to deal with it, other problems can arise. No one likes confrontation either, maybe apart from lawyers or Twitter trolls, but you will never move past the problems you have if you have a problem with confrontation. It's usually the hardest part of dealing with a problem, but once you have brought up the issue at hand and confronted either the person or the issue itself, the rest of dealing with it becomes a lot easier. As cliche as some of this may sound, the first step is always the hardest. I've cut out drinking from my daily routine, as I mentioned. I still am struggling to live a healthy life or be able to say yes to things that I'd like to do. I think it's mainly due to the fact of being poor. Also, having alcohol in my life for so long, it's been hard for me to just say yes to things that I would want to do. Instead, I end up mulling them over in my head and think of the worst outcomes. How would it be if I was at this event with a few drinks, or if I had a few pre-drinks, or I went with drinks with me, and it always ended up being about drink. I used to prioritize alcohol over food shopping, over my bills. Anything important, drink would always come first. Sometimes I would even go to an event without even knowing how I would get home, because I would spend the rest of my money on drink or getting wasted there. This definitely created a social anxiety within me, whereas I didn't feel comfortable at certain places or with certain people unless I was getting drunk. This is usually the way everyone functions today as a society, but it is hard to disconnect yourself from this lifestyle if it's all you have ever known. Events that may have defined my life before are now becoming a lot easier to process and understand because of acknowledging this. Rather than believing the same story for years or blaming yourself for something that hasn't even been put to rest, it's better to acknowledge the things later on. I should have always stuck to what I was good at, what I believed when I was funny, and what brought me happiness at the time. Ever since age 17, 18, I'd always been living my life for other people, and it was easy to take advantage of me. I was always looking to please everyone else before myself, so it was hard to make decisions for myself when I was trying to make everyone else happy. I remember my first ever job. I was working with my girlfriend at the time's family at a rugby club, helping with the food. It was a strange time for me because it was around when the relationship with my stepdad was at its worst. Yet every weekend I would be working with my girlfriend's family, who were perfect. They were everything you wanted a family to be. The fact that we were working while we were there made it even more special. It was my first insight into a catering / food workplace, and I loved it. Little did I know this was the job that I missed the most over the years. Or little did I know it would be the job that I missed the most. Not only did I feel like part of a family, but my love for food increased, and I was starting to feel like part of a family at last. However, I soon ruined this relationship as my relationship with alcohol was starting to grow. This is about the honeymoon period. See if any of you can relate. So, my most recent relationship, at the beginning of it, we were actually on holiday for a month. So we were used to being on holiday, eating out at restaurants, staying at hotels. She was doing work experience there, so we couldn't not be on holiday at the time. But you both expect it to continue when you get back. The honeymoon period soon ends, but when you both have to get back to working on yourselves, you need that motivation to get going, or from your other half to remind you why you do the things that you do. This also happens in friendships as well. You won't realise it until some of your closest friends start to drop you and start treating you differently. Of course, we all have our lives to attend to, but we have to remember who got us there in the first place. Who was there for us when we were at our lowest? What made us change a certain behaviour? What is it you have taken from your friends that you may now use as your own personality trait? Is there anything you are grateful for from some of your old friends that define who you are today? It's hard to really push yourself sometimes when you don't have any self-confidence or you believe no one has faith in you. Personally, I like to think we are all unique in our own special way. As easy it is to be inspired by a group of people or getting persuaded to do something because a group is doing it, individuality is the most important thing I've ever learned about in my 30 years on Earth. I think that's why I started making these videos, got into comedy, and going through a few losses myself in the past few years, rekindling old friendships, losing friends, making new ones, falling in and out of love, moving up and down the country, being fucking homeless. It's been a wild few years. I've been reminded by those closest to me, and even by some unexpected people, that I am unique. A couple of weeks ago, someone said I was a leading influence and that so many people looked up to me, laughed at my jokes, and generally enjoyed my company. And I had a massive smile on my face, like it's almost there now. It had been a while since I'd ever felt like I'd been an influence on anyone, to be honest. So it's really refreshing to hear this. It also goes to show, even if you haven't spoke to someone in a long time, you can still be kind, and you really don't know how it could change their life. We all need a tiny bit of encouragement now and then. It goes to show you how much of an impact you can have on someone's life without you even knowing it as well. Sometimes even getting an invite to somewhere or from someone unexpected can make your day as well. Think how much that person appreciates you for you to be invited to spend time with them. Especially recently, with so little things open and people are really careful about how they spend their time and with whom. It can be hard to make decisions on your own when you don't know what is best for you. Other people may watch in frustration, knowing you can be doing better, should be doing better, but are stuck due to a few things that are left unresolved in your life. It's not easy to motivate yourself, even in the hardest of times, so picking who you surround yourself with is equally as important. Even on days when you might prefer your own company, you have to remember what brings you back to earth, what makes you feel grateful and happy to be alive. You may not be able to surround yourself with the people who bring out the best in you all the time. If so, look within and see what makes you, you. What do people look up to you for? What are you known for? What's something you do that brings others joy, but more importantly, also brings you joy? Try and work on these parts of your personality to become the best version of yourself. Eventually your self-esteem will go up, your confidence will rise, not only in yourself but in other social situations where you may not have been as comfortable before. The people that were horrible to you or have slowed you down in life before will realise you are a much better version of yourself now. You have no obligation to forgive them, to let them back into your life. It is entirely up to you how you deal with them. Personally, what I'm going to do is let go of these people that have caused me harm and slowed me down, so to speak. It is clear they have not wanted anything to do with me, or they would have made an effort to be a part of my life. If people are actively making an effort, but they are doing it to be toxic, then there is no need for someone like that in your life. There is a lot more people out there willing to make the effort just to have a conversation or a catch up with you. No one goes out their way just to be antisocial and make you dislike them. If people use you for a certain outlet in their life, like drinking buddies, or you only find you end up finding yourself only doing drugs with this person, maybe ask them to do something different for a change. You will soon realise how much they value you as a friend. And I hope that you've all learnt something, and I hope you all know who this is about. Me. But yeah, I've made some good adjustments. I can't speak, and that's why I need the script. I've stopped drinking for a good 8 weeks or even longer now, and letting go of toxic people. If they don't make the effort to be in your life, then they don't deserve it, frankly. And when they realise that you're a better person, it'll probably be too late for them anyway. Thank you all for watching. I am turning 30 tomorrow, so you can send me a little birthday present if you want in the link below. And who knows what next video will be. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope you all have a lovely weekend.